Today we're going to talk about the obligations and the rights of the husband and the wife. Now, marriage in Islam is highly recommended, highly encouraged, right? But it's not compulsory. So once we choose to marry, it's considered a contract in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, it's a kind of sacred. Yeah. And so we need to know what our rights and our obligations are, because ignorance is not an excuse. Yeah, we need to be on the same page with our spouse. We need to know our rights. We need to know our obligations. Yeah, because it's a sacred contract in front of Allah. So, a few points to begin with. So the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he encouraged it for us to get married. Yeah, so getting married and fulfilling the obligations of marriage is half of our ibadah. So if you count all your ibadah, you count your shahada, all your prayers and your fasting and your zakat and your pilgrimage, including charity, kindness to your neighbors and family, you add it all up. That together is only half. The other half is from marriage and fulfilling its rights and obligations in the marriage. That's the other half. So you can see how important it actually is. Yeah. And some people they quote the Quran to get their rights or to show to other people their obligations, but then they forget setting aside the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah, they forget about the practice of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how he actually was in his marriages. So we need to take that in consideration as well. And there's also a lack of knowledge among future spouses, about marriage, like men who are not ensure their wives to become more knowledgeable about their rights and obligations. Men, we have seen in the previous videos, right, that men who don't really understand how that a woman is different from a man, and all those characteristics that we discussed before. And all these things should already be clear and become clear in the period of courtship. Yeah, before the marriage actually happened, that you know upfront what is expected from you. Yeah, what are your rights, what are your obligations, so that afterwards you can, after marriage, you can actually tactfully and respectfully correct each other if necessary. And because becoming each other's garments, how the Quran puts it, we don't want to offend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by not fulfilling our rights and obligations to one another, right? So we take it seriously. So that's why it's very important to know these rights and obligations. Another point is that we need to make the difference. Yeah, we need to differentiate between culture and religion. Sometimes culture is given preference over religion, and this is a big mistake. Yeah. Now therefore we need to know what Islam says about marriage and what Islam says about our rights and obligations, not what our culture tells us. Yeah. And another point is that we tend to copy our parents, what we see when we grow up, how they communicated, how they or your parents were in their marriage. We have the tendency to copy that without questioning them if it was right or wrong, if they follow culture or they follow the deen. And our parents are human beings, right? They're not perfect. They actually sent us to school to become more knowledgeable than them later. And so once we have the knowledge about how Islam looks at the rights and obligations in marriage, we need to not blindly following our parents, but we seek forgiveness for them and not make the same mistakes. We should do it differently if you didn't get the proper example. If you get the proper example from your parents, alhamdulillah, you can follow them, right? If it's all according to the Quran and the Sunnah. But we need the courage to reflect and think critically and research and study. Yeah, and we should not blindly copy anyone. Another question to ask yourself is am I a fun person to be around with? Yeah, is this, or whatever you're doing, is this pleasant to my spouse? yeah, so that we can hopefully become a better person in that sense. Okay, so now we start with the rights and obligations. First, we have 4 main obligations, and then we have a few additional ones, three additional ones. So the first one is about, it's actually for everyone, it's about obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the first is about that it's about submission, right? The Muslim family is based on submission to Allah and live Islam as a way of life. Yeah. If this basis is not there, then our house, our marriage doesn't have any foundation. It will collapse. Yeah. So, and that's there is an attack nowadays through the secularism and an attack on the family. And Islam protects the family. Yeah, it's like all about the family is the base for the rest of society. So we need to seek more knowledge. How Islam subscribes us to live, and especially in marriage, that we have at least the basis of Islam. We need at least know the basis of Islam, and then because we should practice Islam together as a couple. So that Islam is a way of life. And for new Muslims, we need actually more support, than for this. So if you have a spouse which is a new Muslim, a convert, then you might have to go to classes together, to support her or to support him, so that you both can get more knowledge. Related to this also is helping each other in this personal development, to become a better Muslim, a better human being, and a better Muslim. In chapter 3, ayah 200 is mentioned that you strengthen one another. Yeah, and in chapter 5, ayah 3 is mentioned, help one another in taqwa. Yeah, so that's all the elements as well, that you are helping each other to become more obedient to Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also in other aspects like material or financial and spiritual, everything is like related to acting as a team. Now when you become married, you are forming a team. Yeah, you are there together, be each other's motivators. Because the opposite, if you highlight each other's weaknesses and attacking your one's ability or the ego, then your marriage might fail terribly. It's not helping. It's not like motivating at all. It's bringing each other down. So it's not helpful. So that's the first point, that we should live our life and our experience in our marriage according to the obedience to Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the second one is live in tranquility with love, mercy, cooperation, and consultation. You probably have heard about this ayah before, that Allah created for you mates from among yourselves, so that you may dwell in tranquility with them. And He has put love and mercy between you. That's in chapter 30, ayah 21. Now in Arabic it says li taskunu. Li taskunu, meaning for the purpose. We're created from among ourselves, mates, spouses, for the purpose that you may find peace, that you may find tranquility, that you may find calm. So if you're looking for a spouse, then you first have to determine for yourself, what makes me actually calm? What makes me peaceful? Yeah, that's what you're actually looking for in a spouse, someone who can give you this calmness. We're supposed to build this house of peace, Darus Salam, house, abode of peace, and that helps us to find peace with our Creator as well. So the purpose is actually not love and mercy. The purpose is finding peace, and from then Allah will give. It says in the ayah, He has put love and mercy between you. So Allah will put this love and mercy. That comes actually from Allah. So then when Allah puts this love between you, then the meaning of that is like being playful with one another, being compassionate, supportive, being each other's backbone, that you can depend on one another, you can build upon one another. And but of course you have to be lovable to be loved. Right? So again, it comes back to that what I said before, like, are you a fun person to be with? Are you a lovable person to be with? Yeah, that's the question. And the mercy, the rahmah, the care and the mercy that comes from Allah, for that we need to be more forgiving. Yeah, and have this merciful attitude. Yeah, everyone will make mistakes in the marriage. Your spouse will make mistakes. We have to put those mistakes aside. Yeah, for us to be having this peaceful life together. So that's about the tranquility with love and mercy. Then cooperation. That's that we need to help each other. Again, we are this team now, right? So we need to be of assistance, even without being asked. See what you can do for your spouse, how you can help each other. Putting your spouse's needs even before your own. Yeah, it's not me, myself, and I. No, as how you can help and support your spouse. So kindness is important, helping each other with the children, with the housework, with administrative tasks, whatever you can help each other with. Showing love and care and concern of one another, making things easy. Yeah, it's easy for one another. So it's all about character: nice, kind, friendly, understanding, thankful. It's like the full package. It's not like just one thing. It's like complete, like nice akhlaq, nice behavior, nice manners. And we need to adjust, right? Once you become married, you need to get used to one another. Maybe your spouse has certain habits. It's irritating to you, but other habits you find nice. So you need to get used to those things, right? Nobody will be perfect, and so we need to adjust. Yeah, we need to make adjustments. And further in the marriage, also we develop, we change, maybe our expectations change or our needs change. So we need to keep on making things easy for one another. And like the Prophet said, make things easy for one another, not harsh and difficult. Yeah. So you're both on this journey as a team. Yeah. So you need to keep on growing in that together. So the cooperation might be also in finances, in chores, managing the household, care for the children, all these things, especially when both spouses are working. Yeah, then both spouses need to help each other in the house as well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did his share in the household activities. Yeah, he was very supportive. So he is our example, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the another point for this one is consultation. Yeah, this is an Islamic principle. Yeah, Islamic conduct is in all affairs. The consultation is in all affairs, like the private one, business one, state affairs. And we are encouraged to do shura. Yeah. So in chapter Ashura, chapter 42, ayah 38 is mentioned. That's actually that we should consult one another. We should ask advice of one another. So that's especially true for marriage as well, right? You are a team, so it's good to talk to each other about certain things and see what the other person's opinion is, so that you can get more views, from more aspects, from more sides, so that you can make the best decision. Yeah, so you are each other's best companions and best advisors. Yeah, so you can consider these different views on the issue to come hopefully to the best solution. Yeah, so all these things that we mentioned above, like the finding peace, love and mercy, cooperation and consultation, all these things contribute to peace in the house. Yeah, peace in the home, and that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. Okay, another main obligation is upholding chastity, honor, and about sexual needs. So actually everyone is required to protect their chastity, whether married or not, right? So in chapter 33, ayah 35, it's mentioned, for the man and the woman who guard their chastity. And then a little later, the ayah continues, for them Allah has prepared forgiveness and a great reward. So this chastity, this starts all with modesty. Yeah, and modesty, it's like not only in clothing, but it includes restraining manners. Your whole behavior actually should be modest. The Prophet ﷺ said, like, every religion has a distinctive quality. And a distinctive character or quality of Islam is modesty. Yeah, so that's typical for Islam. So therefore we need to observe the Islamic boundaries with the opposite gender, and namely with the people we can marry with. Yeah, so we limit relationships with them. Keep it like official, like a sort of reserved attitude. Keep some distance, protecting your good name and your reputation, because there's a danger. The devil is always whispering to us certain things that we might go wrong. So that's very important in this aspect, upholding your chastity. And then about our sexual desires. Now getting in the marriage, this is an outlet for our biological needs, and it's a protection against unlawful sexual relationship. And at the same time, both spouses are become responsible of fulfilling each other's sexual needs. And so intimacy is not only about fulfilling desires, but it's also involved bonding, coming closer to one another. And but it's also it's for both spouses. There is some cultures the men have the idea that a woman doesn't have like sexual needs, or not as much as men. But in Islam, it's stressed upon that this should be available for both spouses. Mutual satisfaction is very important in these aspects, because both have natural needs and desires. So this is another very important aspect and rights and obligation as well. Okay, then we go to the fourth one. Mutual confidentiality. So your marriage should actually be a safe place for both spouses to be themselves, where you can share your deepest thoughts, your fears, your anxieties, without worrying that other people come to know. It should be a safe place. This even excludes parents and children. Whatever you discuss with your spouse should not even go to parents or children. It should be between both of you. So there is this aspect of privacy. So revealing marital details or secrets about your spouse or shortcomings about your spouse is strongly condemned in Islam, even if it's for fun. Don't even do it for fun. There is this privacy aspect, which is very important. The exception is in case of a marital crisis, or in case of abuse, an abusive situation. Of course, then you might need to tell things about your marriage, right? You might need counseling, you might need advice from a professional, and of course, then you need to share the details. But in general, whatever is like done in confidence between you as two spouses in your team, that should stay in your team, between both of you, and also should not be used in case of like you have a fight or like a discussion, arguments, and then you throw these things to one another, right? That's very nasty and very mean. Okay, so these are like the four main obligations. So now there are also some additional obligations and rights. And the first one of them is like managing the family. It's related to managing the family. So there is this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He appointed men to be the leader of the family. That's man's duty towards Allah. So He's the leader. Now Allah, in His wisdom, in the way He created us, He knows what's best for us, right? So the leadership in the hands of the man is because of his physical strength and his mental strength. And the fact that that women usually take care of the children, that's because her instinct is more about caring and loving, her soft nature, right? That's all because we are different from one another. We are not exactly the same. So this leadership is in the hands of the men. And so with this comes actually a responsibility towards Allah for the physical and the social and the emotional and the spiritual well-being of the whole family. So you might think, oh, this leadership is like a privilege or something. No, it comes actually with a lot of accountability. So the husband needs to be the role model for his family. Yeah, so he's supposed to be setting high standards. Yeah, to begin with himself. To follow this high standard so that he can be a role model for the rest of the family. He should not abuse his leadership for self-interest, of course. Yeah, but that means also that the husband needs to be follow worthy. Yeah, worthy in the sense that follow worthy material, that it's worth to be followed. Yeah, he has the character to be followed, and not too bossy and dominant and things forceful. Yeah. So there's this element of respect. Yeah, respecting each other. So even in the case of no matter how angry you are with one another, sometimes you will be angry, but you still keep it respectful. Yeah, you still keep it dignified. And then for the woman, it's she's complimenting her husband. She's not competing with him. She's not competing with him for leadership. She knows Allah put him as a leader, but she compliments him. Yeah, the spouses are there to complement one another, to form the most efficient team. Yeah, again, the team is so very important. So she has respect for his leadership by being obedient. Yeah. Now, this word obedient is nowadays, it's very a loaded word. It's how do you say that, misunderstood a lot, maybe so maybe I can say loyal. Yeah, loyal to the husband is maybe a word that is better describes this relationship. Yeah, loyal to the husband. And this respect needs to be earned by the man. Yeah, needs to be earned by the husband, by his character, by his kindness, by he acting just. Yeah, he has justice and patience towards his wife. Then automatically the wife will become more respectful of her husband. Yeah, and she's there to protect his wealth and his honor. So that meaning protecting the household and the children, supporting one another in that sense. The Quran mentions the woman is the comfort of your eyes, the comfort of the eyes of the man. Yeah. And so again, this feeling of peacefulness comes into mind again. Yeah, that you create this peaceful bond and this peaceful home together. So being a team, complementing one another, and then these characteristics of kindness and taqwa, love, respect, justice, peace, and patience. Yeah, this is all related to this. Okay, another additional obligation is managing the economic well-being of the family. So we start again with the man. The man is responsible for the maintenance of the family. Yeah, as a leader of the family, his task is to maintain the family, even if the woman is richer than him, even if the woman is more wealthy than him. It's still his task to maintain the household. Before marriage, this actually starts already with the dower, right? With a gift to the woman, according to the custom of your country, not too high, not too low, but just what's normal in your society. And then during the marriage is the nafaka. That means the husband provide food and clothing and accommodation and general care, like medical care, according to her social position and habits and their custom. Yeah, and but this similar to what they are used to. And related to that also allowance. There's an allowance for the woman, especially when she's not working. Yeah, that's also according to the custom of your country or how high that allowance is. And therefore the husband needs to be fair. He needs to be fair with his wife and his children. They have rights over his resources. Yeah, and so he needs to make equal standards for him and for the rest of the family members. Yeah, so not like he has always branded clothes and branded stuff and everything, and he sends his wife and his children to the cheap store. Yeah, it should be equal for the whole family, whatever he can afford, according to his means, of course. And any generosity the husband is displaying to the family. Yeah, he's very generous to the family. He is rewarded for that by Allah. And also it's calculated as sadaqah for him. Yeah, and the same is actually applicable for the wife as well. If she's very generous towards the family, towards husband, then it's also, she get rewards for that, and it is counted as sadaqah for her as well. Okay, and then for the wife, protecting the wealth and the honor, especially in the absence of the husband. That meaning like looking after the house, maintaining it, yeah. Not letting people into the house that one of the spouses don't like, and maybe some bad influences from certain people, and then you don't want to have that in your house. So that's in that sense. And the wife also needs to be balanced. Yeah, there is, on the one hand, there is this maintenance of the husband. Yeah, the husband needs to maintain the family, but the other hand, the woman should not be like have spendthrift, like spending and always shopping and shopping. The wife should have like reasonable financial requests, not to burden the husband beyond his means. Yeah, so it should be balanced. And supportive spouses, they can actually increase the wealth and the status of the family. And on the other hand, a foolish spouse can actually make the whole family poor. Right, so it needs to be balanced. And then the third one and the last one is about nurturing the emotional and social and spiritual development of the family. So everyone is a shepherd to someone. Now the wife is shepherd to the household, meaning he's responsible for his household to nurture their emotional, their social and spiritual development. And the wife is responsible in the house and with the children. So the husband protects his family, their honor, their safety, their emotional well-being, social well-being, spiritual well-being. Yeah, and that's his main job. And sometimes the wife actually needs protection against in-laws. Yeah, because this is your wife. This is not the wife of your family. This is your wife. And sometimes you need to protect her from abuse of your family. Yeah, they want to like confiscate her or give her so much tasks to do that it becomes overburdening and becomes overburdened to her. So that's also the role of the husband. Guiding the family to the straight path, yeah, keeping the family on the straight path, guidance from Islamic perspective, yeah, is living Islam as a way of life, yeah, to that every aspect of your life is related to Islam, and related to that, of course, is seeking Islamic knowledge, right? So we need to seek Islamic knowledge. All of us need to know at least the basics. So there should be like a strong aqidah, strong belief. Yeah, a strong foundation of belief that you have this knowledge of Aqidah and Akhlaq as well. Yeah, that you have the best morals and best behavior. Now, if a husband cannot provide this Islamic knowledge by himself to the wife and the children, then he needs to appoint a teacher, yeah, for them. Or maybe they should go together to classes as a family. Yeah, because everyone needs this Islamic knowledge, and this nurtures actually the emotional and social and spiritual development of the whole family. And then for the wife, managing the household and upbringing of the children, again, the wife complements the husband. She's not competing with him in any way. So she keeps the home safe and clean and comfortable, right? And she takes care of the physical and intellectual and social, emotional and spiritual development of the children. Yeah, and she is best suited for that role, made by that Allah made her like that she is very suitable for the role, especially when the children are very young. But nevertheless, children need both their parents, both mother and father, to be involved in their upbringing, and like they have these different influences from the husband and from the wife together, and that forms them as a complete person. And if the wife works, then actually she needs more help from her husband or maybe from extended family, yeah, because when the wife works, she cannot do that all by herself. So these are a few, this is like a summary. Yeah, it's very short summary of the rights and the obligations of a husband and a wife. And the goal is, of course, to have like a peaceful home, Darus Salam, peaceful, happy family, so that it can be the cornerstone of society, how it's supposed to be. So this was it for today for me, and hope to see you in another video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.